It's okay to feel lost in life, to not know what is upcoming next. You don't have any super big plan that is laid out 5 years ahead and know each and every single step. It's okay to feel like you don't know what's gonna come next. And you feel like just really unsure and uncertain. You might even have the feeling that you're floating in space and there's nothing to grab onto because it feels like every single thing seems to just be slipping away. Everyone else seems to be doing better in life, and it's only you who's truly struggling. And that's okay. It's okay to feel like that, but it's not okay to stay there. Every single person that has ever lived has felt this at one point in their life. They feel like they've been lost. Things don't make sense. I mean, look at today. The economy is not the best. The job market. I mean, I've applied to over 100 different jobs. I showed up to one job and they literally said they didn't have any jobs. A whole interview got scheduled and everything. And I went there and they're like, oh, we don't have any jobs. So I wasted time getting ready, driving there, waiting in the rain, in traffic to get nothing. And I know how frustrating that can be. Then you start thinking, like, where am I in life? Like, is there really any point? Am I doing all this for nothing? Going to college and it looks like I'm probably not gonna get a job. All these things, all these thoughts start coming into your mind. But how do you get past that? How do you get out of that? And instead of staying feeling lost, you leave it. You leave it behind. You have a mission. You have a purpose. You have direction. You have a point that you're aiming for. And you might not know every single step that comes next, but you have a goal. You have a target that you're aiming to hit. But how do you escape it? This feeling that everything is coming crashing down and nothing makes sense. Nothing is going to work in your favor and you just feel like giving up all hope. And it just feels like everything is so blurry. There's no direction. There's no points. There's no target to even aim for because it all seems like it's falling apart. And that's what I'm going to help you break free from in this video. And I can give first-hand experience because I experienced it this year. You can literally even check on my Instagram. I have a post about it's okay to feel lost, because it happens to all of us. Now first, let's talk about why you actually feel lost. Because feeling lost, even though it does happen to everyone, there is a reason. And the sooner you get rid of that reason, the sooner you'll be free and you'll be able to understand that, wait a second, I really don't need to feel this way. And the truth is, it's because you're comparing yourself. It's so easy in a digital age to compare yourself to every single person with things like Instagram where you're being force-fed someone else's life. It doesn't matter where they are. They can be on the other side of the world and it can be showing you a side of someone's life that you're probably never meant to see. And not just that, but just the highlights of it. None of the lows, none of the parts where there was struggle, none of the parts where they were uncertain themselves. They just show you the best parts, the parts that are like, man, why am I not like that? Why don't I feel like that? Why are there people that are 20 that are millionaires while I'm here and I don't have anything to show for it? Why are there people that are 15 that are driving in Lamborghinis and doing all these crazy things, but I'm not there yet? Why are there people my age that can bench 315 for reps and I'm only just now hitting 250? Why does it feel this way? And it's because social media platforms, they know you get stuck in cycles of continually watching over and over and over other people's lifestyles that weren't meant for you. They weren't meant for you. Each and every single person has a different life. They have a different background. They have different goals. And that success that you see, it might not all be true. You only see a small fraction of it. Think about it. Like, I mean, the Instagram reel, like the average one is like what? Like a minute long, if even that. You get to see 1 minute out of someone's 24 hours of a day. 1 minute only. And then you have to think 24 hours. I mean, there are 7 days in a week. And then there are, about 4 weeks in a month. And there are 12 months, and you multiply that, and you see such a small fraction, such a small portion, and that's where you're comparing yourself to. You have to break free of it. You cannot keep comparing yourself. You have to break out of that cycle. Think, I'm done with it. I can't compare myself to other people. That's not what I'm meant to do. All that God has for me, it's meant for me. The plan that God has for me, it's unique to me. The mission, all these different objectives, the story that I have in my life, it's all unique to me. And I can't compare their results to my own because we live different lives. And God could have given us two completely different purposes and assignments. Completely different. but you're stuck comparing yourself. You have to think about it this way. Comparison makes you doubt the plan that God has given you for someone else's. And someone else's plan, you may not have even been created for. The path that someone else has, the things that they might have had to do, the challenges, the struggles, the endurance, all these different things were things that you weren't created with. And you may be chasing that rather than walking down the path that God has given you. I think one of the best people that gives an example of this is Joseph. Joseph had this dream that God gave him, that all these people were going to serve him. And it took years and years and years for that to finally happen. And Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery because they didn't like the plan that God gave them. They didn't like to hear that, oh, they would end up having to serve him. So Joseph had to go on for many years. He's falsely accused. He had to work in a prison, and he did all those things, but he worked to the best of his ability because he knew that God had a plan for him, that the path, the mission that God gave him was different and unique to him. And he continued to trust in God. And even though it didn't happen in 1 year, and it happened in 3, and it didn't happen in 5, it eventually came to pass. And Joseph ended up becoming the second most powerful person in Egypt. And during that time, that was one of the most powerful countries in the world. But it's because he wasn't looking at everyone else's plans. He wasn't distracted by them. He stayed true to following what God gave him, the vision that God gave him, the plan that he knew that even though it wasn't working exactly on probably what he would have liked on his time, he knew that God's timing was best. And because he was patient, because he waited, because he stayed on that straight and narrow path, the vision that God gave him ended up coming to pass. And that's what a lot of us need to do. We need to remember that God gave us something different. There's no reason to compare our lives to other people. So that means if you need to get off of social media, if you need to do a dopamine detox, do it. If you need to uninstall Instagram from your phone, do it. If you need to unfollow some people because they're making you compare your life, unfollow them. And you may think, oh, but I don't want to do that. That's hard. I don't want to unfollow people. I really like these people. But you have to understand, it's just short-term sacrifice for a much greater reward. If doing something as small as getting rid of an app or limiting your time or the people you follow gives you the greater reward of not having to compare yourself to other people, then do it. It's a small sacrifice for a much greater purpose. It's a small sacrifice for a much larger reward in life. It's better to have that peace of mind than to go struggling every single day comparing yourself to other people. And now you may be thinking, okay, I know why I feel lost, but how do I actually get a target? How do I get something to actually pursue? Because if I don't pursue anything, if I don't have a goal, if I don't have some sort of target out there, then I'm going to feel like I'm just on a map with no destination. And a map without destination, you could go all over the place. You can go see beautiful things. You can also go into places that you're not supposed to. And without a destination, you're not going to know if you're actually getting closer, if you're moving in the right direction. And you do this by following the 3 levels. There are 3 cascading levels to really be locked in and honed on what exactly you're supposed to do. First, you have to understand that everyone has a calling. Every single person that's ever been created has a calling. And contrary to what you think, your calling isn't some sort of specific thing. Like let's say you're a musician and you make amazing music. Your calling is not to make music. Your calling is actually to be a child of God. Your calling is what you respond to, your name. It's like if someone calls out for it, then what are you? And first thing that you are is a child of God. You're a follower of Jesus. That's the very first thing you are. So think of it as your calling. Every single thing in life falls below that. That is your number one thing, your number one focus. Every single thing leads up to that. That's your calling. Your calling is to be a follower of Jesus Christ, to be a child of God. That is what you are first. And I like to think of it with this analogy of a hammer, which I'm going to continue to return to. A hammer, when you call for a hammer, okay, I bring a hammer. That's the tool that you bring. If you say, oh, can you bring me a hammer? You're calling out for the hammer. Someone's going to bring you a hammer. They're not going to bring you a screwdriver. They're not going to go and bring you a couch. They're not going to bring you a bowl of ice cream. They're going to bring you a hammer because you're calling out to that name and it responds to it. Okay, I want a hammer. You get a hammer. You are a child of God. Okay, that's how you respond. You are a child of God. That's the very first thing. Next, you have purpose. Purpose is right below calling. God gives us so many different purposes in life. You have to think about it just again with a hammer. A hammer has the purpose of nailing in nails. You can go and remove nails. You can go and nail wood. You can do all these other things. You can actually build things with the hammer. It has so many purposes, and it's just like us. You can have different purposes in life, and that's why so many people feel confused. They're like, but I feel like I'm good at this thing. I'm good at this as well. And you can do both. And God has given us so many different purposes that we need to go and flow into. So it's okay to have multiple purposes because it also changes as you get older. Purposes can change and evolve with life. When I get married, one of my purposes is going to be being the best godly husband I can possibly be, to strive and be better each and every single day for my wife. Because that's a purpose that I have, because then I'll be married. And now that's something I need to walk into. When I have kids, it's to be the best godly husband I can be the best role model, treat my daughters with excellence and show them how a man is supposed to treat them. Set the example for my sons so they can be like, okay, this is exactly how a man is supposed to be. That's what happens. And purposes can continue to change and evolve. When you have grandkids, or maybe you have a certain job, maybe you're a musician in this season and you won't be in next. Maybe you're supposed to be playing soccer, and in another, you're supposed to be doing something else. You have different purposes in different parts of your life. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, it's supposed to be this one exact thing. You can have multiple purposes at the same time, and things can change and flow as you get older and as you mature with time. Think about it again, just like a hammer. A hammer can nail in nails, but it can also remove nails. You can go and build things with wood, but it can also go and destroy things. It has multiple purposes, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still a hammer. And the next and last thing below all of that is your mission. It goes and fits into the two things above, calling and purpose. Your mission is the specific thing that you strive for. It's something that is uniquely yours. As many people as will be parents, as many people will be musicians, YouTubers, creators, all these different things, you have a specific mission that God has called you to. It's a specific thing that you're supposed to strive for. And you have to think about it like a hammer. If a company has a hammer, their mission may be to make the best quality and luxury hammers possible. Another mission that a hammer company might have is to remove nails better than any other hammer company out there. And you have to think your mission is uniquely yours. You find your mission and discover it by living the unique life experiences that God has given you. All the different things in your life, the unique trials, the joyous moments, the highs, the lows, the friends you make, the people that you're from, all these different things, they go and combine, and it's going to help you discover your mission. And it continues to mature and grow as you get older. Like mine is help my generation go mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally to pursue Jesus passionately and wholeheartedly, leading them to rise and become the godly leaders of the next generation. And I can say all of that, but it took me years to know that. And I thought it was this other thing years before, but it's continued to evolve. And I've been able to hone in on it more and more as I got to grow up in my relationship with God. And as I've continued to mature and as I've continued to go through things in life, as I've continued to get stronger, I've discovered that more and more, and I've been able to hone it in more and more specifically. And it's the same thing that'll happen for you as you live life, as you go and start to think and as you grow in your relationship with God, you're going to be like, oh, wait a second, my mission actually is more refined like this. And it'll continue to grow and get better. And remember, lastly, that God loves you. God truly cares about you. You are his most prized creation. You are his most prized thing that he's ever created. He made all these beautiful mountains, these animals, nature, water, all these different things. But he considers you his favorite creation. And remember this verse in Matthew 6:34. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And we can see that we're not supposed to worry about tomorrow. Don't get anxiety. Don't get all worked up that, oh, how's this going to work out? What about this? Rest easy and assured knowing that God has you. He has you in the palm of his hands, and he truly loves and cares about you. And he won't let you fall. He will always be there. And you can read the rest of Matthew 6:25 all the way down to 34. And it's literally titled, The Cure for Anxiety. And it talks about how God takes care of even the birds, and he clothes the lilies, and all these different things that he takes care of and he loves. But he loves you so much more. Don't ever forget that, and don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. So if or when you ever feel lost or feel uncertain, remember, first, comparison. Don't compare yourself. Comparison is what's most likely making you feel lost or doubt the plan that God has given you, that only you have, specifically made for you. So maybe unfollow some people, maybe get off of social media. Realize that comparison is not going to help you at all. Then next, remember calling, purpose, then mission. You remember this order and you will be able to realize there's a target out there. I have a target, and realize what target exactly that you have. Your calling. What does God call you? You're a child of God. Remember, every single thing falls below that. Then next, what is the purpose? What is the purpose that God has given me in this season? What are the purposes that God has given me? What do I feel like? Okay, God has called me to do this. Yes, I know I need to go and do this. I need to go and do this task, this ability that God's given me. And next, your mission. What is the exact specific thing that I know that I need to continue to pursue in life? The things that will be revealed and unique life experiences that only you have. The trials, the tribulations, the highs, the lows, the friends, the family, all of it makes you realize what exactly is the mission. And last off, remember that God loves you. There is no reason to feel anxiety and worry. Remember that He has a plan so much greater than yours. He will order all your steps if you just let Him. Let Him guide you. Let Him lead you. Let Him be the one that you look to. Not money, not the economy, not jobs, not all these other things, but let it be Him, Jesus Christ. So if you want another amazing video to watch this video right here, because YouTube says you like it. And remember, purpose over pleasure. I love each and every single one of you.